Jean Tierney, a Hollywood legend famed for her breathtaking, almost otherworldly beauty and captivating performances in classics like Laura and Leave Her to Heaven. But behind the glamorous facade lay a profound personal tragedy, one that irrevocably shaped her life and the lives of her two daughters. This is a story of Hollywood heartbreak, resilience, and the enduring impact of family secrets. Number 2. Daria Cassini. Daria's tragic beginning. The story begins in the spring of 1943. Jean Tierney, a rising star, was secretly pregnant with her first child. Before starting her maternity leave, she made a patriotic appearance at the Hollywood Canteen, a famous club where stars entertained servicemen. Despite disliking crowds, Jean mingled, signed autographs, and shook hands. A few days later, she woke up with red spots. She had contracted rubella, or German measles. In 1943, there was no rubella vaccine. That was still over 2 decades away. While doctors advised pregnant women to avoid crowds, the devastating impact of rubella on an unborn child wasn't widely understood. The link between maternal rubella and severe congenital defects had only just been documented in 1941 by an Australian ophthalmologist, and this crucial medical news hadn't yet spread widely. Jean Tierney had no idea her act of wartime goodwill would have such catastrophic consequences. On October 15, 1943, Antoinette Daria Cassini was born prematurely in Washington, D.C., weighing just over 3 pounds. She needed a total blood transfusion shortly after birth. Soon, the heartbreaking reality emerged. Daria was deaf, partially blind with cataracts in both eyes, and had severe mental retardation, all direct results of congenital rubella syndrome. Years later, the story took another devastating turn. At a tennis party, a woman approached Jean Tierney and asked if she remembered her from the Hollywood Canteen. The fan then revealed that she herself had been sick with German measles that night, but had broken quarantine specifically to meet Jean, her favorite actress. Jean was, as she later wrote, dumbstruck. The abstract tragedy now had a human cause. Tierney said nothing, simply walked away, and later wrote she no longer cared for being anyone's favorite. This shocking story is widely believed to have inspired Agatha Christie's 1962 novel, The Mirror Cracked from Side to Side, where a famous actress's adopted child has similar disabilities due to an encounter with an infected fan. As Daria grew, the challenges of her care became immense. When Daria was 4, Jean Tierney and Oleg Cassini made the agonizing decision to place her in an institution. Daria spent most of her life at the Elwyn Institute in Vineland, New Jersey, a facility for individuals with special disabilities. This was a common, though painful, recommendation at the time. Jean's close friend, Howard Hughes, generously paid for Daria's initial medical expenses. Oleg Cassini also provided lifelong financial support, including a $500,000 trust fund for her care in his will. Daria Cassini lived a quiet life, passing away on September 11, 2010, at the age of 66. Her longevity was seen as a testament to the dedicated care she received. The impact of Daria's condition on Jean Tierney was profound and lasting. It's widely considered a trigger for Jean's lifelong battle with what was likely bipolar disorder. She suffered severe depression, had breakdowns, and endured some 27 rounds of electroshock therapy, a treatment she found degrading and barbaric, and which she said destroyed parts of her memory. In December 1957, her anguish culminated in a suicide attempt when she stepped onto a 14th floor ledge in Manhattan. Thankfully, she was talked down. Jean later wrote about her struggles with remarkable candor in her 1979 autobiography, Self-Portrait, a courageous act in an era when mental illness was heavily stigmatized. Oleg Cassini also struggled to cope with Daria's condition, which heavily strained his marriage to Jean. They separated in 1946, reconciled, and had their second daughter, Christina, before divorcing for good in 1952. Despite this, they reportedly remained friends. Number 1. Christina Tina Cassini. Born on November 19, 1948 in New York City, 5 years after Daria, her early life was lived in the shadow of her sister's profound disabilities and her mother's ensuing fame and fragility. In her heartfelt foreword to Michelle Vogel's biography of Jean Tierney, Christina acknowledged, "It is difficult to be the daughter of a star." She noted that as an infant, she was mostly cared for by nannies, as Jean was at the height of her career. However, childhood friend Yvonne Hemming Coates recalled happy birthday parties in Westport, Connecticut, with Oleg Cassini beaming at his lovely daughter and Jean Tierney being beautiful and nice. Christina later married Giuliano Granata Belmonte, and they had 4 children, 2 daughters, Delfina and Jasmina, and 2 sons, Alexandre or Alexander Cassini Belmonte and Cedric Cassini. The marriage eventually ended in divorce. Christina spent a significant portion of her later life in Paris, France. Her public life was limited, mostly appearing as self in TV documentaries about her family. Her most significant public contribution was that foreword to Vogel's 2005 biography of her mother. In it, she described Jean's naturally refined beauty, quick wit, and genuine kindness, but also her vulnerability, stating Jean did not have the necessary aggressiveness to resist all that she was confronted with in life. A major chapter in Christina's adult life was the protracted and bitter legal battle over her father, Oleg Cassini's estate after his death on March 17, 2006. Oleg's will left the bulk of his estimated $50 to $55 million estate to his third wife and widow, Marianne Nestor Cassini. He left $1 million to Christina and a $500,000 trust for Daria. However, Christina filed a legal claim for a much larger share, 25% of the net estate for herself and 25% for Daria, based on a 1952 Property Settlement Agreement (PSA) from Jean Tierney and Oleg Cassini's divorce. This PSA stipulated that Oleg would leave not less than 1/2 of his net estate to Daria and Christina in equal proportions. Marianne Nestor Cassini fiercely contested this. The legal fight was arduous. Despite court rulings affirming Christina's claim based on the 1952 agreement, a New York appeals court reportedly awarded her the 25% in 2012, valued around $13 million. Actually getting the funds proved incredibly difficult. Reports later emerged, particularly after Christina's own death, that Marianne Nestor Cassini had allegedly stalled the estate settlement to such an extent that, according to the New York Post, both Christina and Daria passed away penniless in terms of receiving what the courts deemed their rightful inheritance from their father. Christina Tina Cassini passed away on March 31, 2015, in Paris at the age of 66 from ovarian cancer. The battle over Oleg Cassini's estate was still largely unresolved for her.